This video shows a quick and straightforward way of setting up your starter database for accruals use. Don't forget that the resulting structure can be amended at any time to suit your changing circumstances or reporting requirements. Even if you realise that your initial setup is wrong, you can amend it to get back on track. Before starting, please read the discussion points section in the installation and setup guide. Note that there is a separate video if you wish to use receipts and payments. Start up the package by double-clicking on the Paxton Run icon and click on the Demo Data button. Now double-click on the Accruals Demo Database. So log in with the user code of user01 and 123456 as a password. Now go to Administration and Getting Started and Create New Database. So we need to enter the details in here, so we're going to give it a database name. This can be anything that you like. And your charity name. And address. And your charity number. And you can fill out the rest of the information now, or you can do it at a later date. So now we're going to choose the data source. So if we click on the button up here, it gives us a list of our standard account code structures. We strongly recommend that you choose one of these as they are properly structured. So let's choose our accrual standard structure there. So you can always use the Preview Account Codes button at the bottom here to view a list of all the account codes. Alternatively, you can create it with an empty accounts code structure. So now we need to give it the earliest year start date. So I'm going to start this at the beginning of my new financial year in January, and my earliest open month is also going to be January because I'm starting at the beginning of the year. If you're VAT registered, select this option here and you'll need to give it your VAT registration number, your VAT period start date and your VAT rates. Once everything's been entered, just click on Create down the bottom. Now what we need to do is log out of our demo data and go into our live data. So if we choose Open a different database, and now click on Live Data, there's our database we've just created. So we double click on that and log in as we did before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here we are. So now if we go to Administration, Getting Started and Chart of Accounts. So here's a list of all the accounts that were in the structure that we selected. So we can amend these if we need to. So if we click on Update, so if we want to change the name of an account, for example, if we click on the account name, press my space bar, allows me to edit that field, and change the name. We can add a new account code if we wish. So if we click on Insert Line, and we put in the account code. The name, the type, so in this case it's a money account, so it's a bank account, and the report section. So this is a current asset, so this is the section that it will appear on your balance sheet report. What we can also do is delete any accounts we don't need. So if we went down to our expenditure codes, for example, say we don't need this travel expenses code, so just click on Delete Line. Gets rid of that one. So once you've done all your amendments, just click on Record. This can be done at any time, so it doesn't need to be perfect now. Now we need to check your system settings. So if we go to System Settings and System Maintenance, we need to check that these account codes on the right hand side here are correct. So if we just click on Update, so you can make some changes. If you've changed your account code structure and these accounts are different, then you can select them here. If you click on record, it just double checks that these account codes exist, they're set up correctly. Now we need to set up the funds. So if we go to Getting Started and Funds Setup. So we all start off with a general fund. So any additional funds need to be added. So if we click on Update and Insert Line. So let's give it a fund code. Name and the relevant type. And the correct retained surplus code. You can give it a description if you need to, or you can leave this blank. And you just carry on like that till all your fund codes have been entered. Again, same as your account codes, it can be done as a later stage if you have additional funds. Click on record. Now we need to enter your opening balances. So if we go to, again under Getting Started and Opening Balances. If the opening balances are to be entered at the start of your financial year, then we only need to enter the balance sheet figures, and you'll need to know these for each fund. If you're starting mid-year, then the balances for both balance sheet and income expenditure codes are needed. In either case, if the complete figures are not available, then don't worry, they can be entered when you do have them. Also, the figures can be entered retrospectively in stages. So let's start off with our general fund. So we give it a reference at the top here. General, and my opening balances date. So I'm doing this at the start of my financial year. And let's put our important numbers in. Let's go to our bank accounts and enter our figures. Positive figures are entered as debits and negatives as credits. Be careful when entering your bank figures, as your bank statement will show a credit figure if you're in the black. This is from the bank's perspective, but to you it's a debit. So the corresponding entry will go against your retained surplus code. So you should end up with a balance of 0 at the top here. If you're running a purchase or sales ledger and you have unreconciled bank entries for these, then the supplier and a customer accounts can be quickly added using the initial supplier and initial customer screens. Once you've entered these, then these will appear as account codes at the bottom of your account code list here. Then you can enter any balances against them. If your organisation is VAT registered, then the outstanding VAT balance must be entered against your VAT payable account. If you owe VAT, then the figure is entered as a credit. Once everything's been entered, click on Confirm, and it just checks that everything adds up, and then record. You'll need to follow this procedure for each fund. So in our case, we've just done the general fund, so you would need to repeat exactly the same procedure for your next fund. So let's say our Monday Club. And you put the same date in there. And you'd put the values that just belong to this particular fund, so the Monday Club in this case. And you'd carry on putting your opening balances till all your funds have been entered. You can always check your opening balance figures by running a trial balance. So if you go to Nominal Reports and Trial Balance, so if you were to select the month you entered them and check the Opening Balances Only option at the bottom here, then the report will just give you your opening balances for all the accounts that you've selected. So in this case, any value, so it'll be all your accounts. You can also split it down per fund, so if you just wanted to see the general fund, then that'll just give you your general fund opening balances. If you're running the Pro package, then more information about adding projects and foreign currencies can be found in your installation and setup guide that you would have received.